secret that shifted my business and made it grow immensely. Today, I'm going to talk about something so powerful that you want to know about it, especially because it is not something complicated, but it is something very impactful. Hi, I'm Yvonne of Amaze Yourself, and we help business owners, agency owners to scale their business, and we do it in a way that it's made simple. We guarantee that you get more clients or we don't get paid, and we show you how you can scale that with ease. Today, I'm talking about something that's for sure going to help you to scale even better. I'm going to talk to you about a secret that shifted my business in an impactful way. So, I don't know about you, but I, of course, always used to set goals like, short-term goals. What do I want to achieve next week? What do I want to achieve next year? What do I want to achieve this quarter? It was very short-term focused always, with the longest period that I would focus on was around a year. And then, of course, I had worked with long-term visions and I had long-term plans, but quite frankly, I never really took them that seriously. If someone would ask me, so where do you see your business in 10 years? Sure, I could give them an answer, but it wasn't as if I truly had a picture in front of me as this is what I want for the next 10 years. And then I embarked on an exercise where the question was, write down what it is you want on a daily basis. And I started to do that. And it wasn't just business, it was just in general in life, what it is that I want. But what was clear to me by writing it down, I actually focused on my long-term vision for my business. And it sparked something inside of me because deep down, I knew what I wanted to do with my business. I knew that I was going to grow it. It was going to really skyrocket. I'm going to host live events, champagne, networking. It's all there. I had this all mapped out, and it feels good. It feels good to write it down every day. And then what happened was, because I started to write down what I wanted every day, it became so clear that this was what I was working for. This was my end game. And because I had that picture clear, what it is I wanted, I also knew, okay, so I'm now here. This is where I want to go. So I need to build out this first, one-on-one coaching. Then I'm going to go to group coaching. And when that is working, then I'm going to go to a mastermind. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And it started with me asking myself the question, what is it that I truly want? So I saw this end game picture. And because I had this end game picture and I was writing about it every day and reading about it every day, I was like, okay, this is going to happen. And then I asked myself, okay, so how do I get there? So I saw, okay, doing more of what I do now, doing better, going to the group program, and then the mastermind. And because I knew that, I started to write about that and I started to see it. And then I was like, okay, so this is going to happen. The doubt had disappeared because I was like, well, this is what I want and this is what I'm going to put into action. And then I was like, okay, great. So I kept writing, I kept, tuning in. And then in one moment, I looked at where I was currently back then. And I was like, you know what? If this is truly what I want to achieve, then I have to do something else today. Because if I keep doing what I'm doing, I keep getting what I get. And that's not what I need to skyrocket my business. That is not what I need to actually help me to get, to the next level clients. And that was so disappointing in a way. I was like, well, I've been working so hard, and why is this not working? And why am I not going quicker? And in a way, it was working wonderful. I had clients, I love my clients, I was busy, I had enough to do, but it wasn't reaching the number of clients that I was aiming for. It wasn't giving me the revenue I was aiming for, and clearly it wasn't giving me the income that I was aiming for. So then I took stock and I was like, okay, so what's happening in my business and why am I not where I want to be? And it became very apparent that the one thing that was lacking was a constant influx of leads, a constant influx of sales conversations. And I looked at, okay, so what do I have in place that is generating those leads and that is getting me those sales conversations? And quite frankly, what I had in place was networking. I was a member of several networking organizations, and sometimes I did a workshop, but I didn't really have a system carved out that I knew was going to bring in clients, a system that I knew that would help me to generate that revenue, to attract those clients that I needed to bring out my dream into reality. So it's like, okay, I've got something to do. And because I wrote down every day, what is it I want? What's my long-term vision? I knew I had to change my current situation to actually get to my long-term vision. So the one thing that was clear to me was that I was missing generating leads, generating sales conversations. And I was like, I don't want it anymore. So I worked on a system and I came up with a system, and that system works tremendously well. It really has given me a continuous pipeline of sales conversations. It brings in leads every week, every day almost, sometimes twice a day. And it's giving me that opportunity to actually move on to that second phase, that phase where I no longer do only one-on-one coaching, but where I focus on group coaching so much faster than I ever envisioned. And it was all because internally I decided my long-term vision is going to happen. And I didn't just say, okay, this is my long-term vision, so, it's happening. No, because I was writing down daily, I was reading daily what it is, what I wanted. And because I kept tuning in and I kept like, does this feel aligned? Is this truly what I want? And the answer was always yes. It kind of became a given that that was what was happening. And because that was what was happening, I had that drive to embark on a new way to attract clients here and now. And it is so wonderful to me because I honestly thought, and I still, that's almost like the thing when you hear long-term vision, right? You think about, oh, long-term, that's 10 years in the future. And with that, I don't know about you, but I know about me. If someone says, oh, 10 years in the future, I'm like, yeah, I'm out. I don't have the patience for 10 years in the future. I like it, but I also know everything can change in the blink of an eye. So no, I don't like it. And I just decided, okay, so writing it down, knowing that it's going to happen, because every day tuning in what it is I want, and this is what I want, made me believe it, made me feel like, yes, this is what I want, and this is what I'm going to put into the world. And it started to go from there. So I started with my vision. I then built out what I like to call the stairway, not to heaven, but the stairway to my dream, which was also really quickly formulated because once you know, and I'm a business coach, so that helps. And then I was like, okay, so I need to change the here and now. And it wasn't easy. And I had to overcome a lot of hurdles because, when you are at a certain plateau in your business, the one thing you need to do is the one thing you're dreading. And I just started to do that. I just started to do what needed to be done to bring my business more clients, to bring my business more sales calls, and to bring my business more leads. And it all started with that question: what is it that you truly want? And if this is something that appeals to you, I highly recommend you start writing it. It doesn't really matter whether you type it or whether you write it. I like writing because there's a special connection with your hand and your brain when you write. It's like a double whammy, okay? If you want a triple whammy, you first write it, okay? You see it, you write it, you feel it, then you read what you wrote, but silently in your mind, and then you speak what you wrote out loud, and then you visualize it if you're in for the whole shebang, so to say. And then look at how fast things are going. So what can you do this week to start moving the needle for your business? Start writing about what it is you want. And if you want some guidelines, I would write down 10 things, but very often I would just start. And, it's also funny because sometimes we write down things, if I ask you now, what are your 10 things that's going to make a difference for you or that you truly want, you might write down 10. But if you do it day in, day out, it might become that those things you've written down aren't really the things you want. And that's also a powerful realization. So what you can do today, this week, to skyrocket your business is start writing what you want. As soon as you feel your long-term vision is something you truly believe in and you feel like, yes, this is what I'm truly going after, then I highly recommend you make your stairway to that long-term vision, and you ask yourself, what is it that I need to change right now to make that long-term vision happen? All right. That is what I wanted to share with you today. And I feel very fortunate that it had such an impact on me, on my business, on my life. And I wish for you to get that impact as well. But if you're looking for any help, maybe with your long-term goal or your vision to get there, or if you're looking for more clients and more leads, reach out. We guarantee that you get more leads, that you grow your revenue. If not, we don't get paid. See you same time, same place next week.